Hey guys, it's Kendra with Keller Williams here in the South Bay. A couple days ago was Keller Williams Family Reunion down in Anaheim, California, where if you're not part of Keller Williams, thousands of Keller Williams agents come together just to hear Gary Keller speak, to network, and to learn many different things to implement for their business. I decided to go because I want to learn things that I can use for my real estate business. I learned so much. To be honest, I kind of forgot that I had a YouTube channel, so I didn't film too much content. But here's a short clip to display what the Keller Williams Family Reunion was like.
They have a 5-year plan. It's what you talked about always in MREA, and they go reverse engineering, and then they execute off that plan.
So they have a plan. It lays out what in that plan.
So what it has, you'll see the following.
Not too much stuff. I get it. I forgot to record a lot of information. But hey, I want to share with you 3 things that I learned from Keller Williams Family Reunion. I have it down on paper. Let's discuss. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what do we bring in value? Very simple, isn't it? But here's the thing. A lot of people don't sit down and understand what they bring in value. So one question that you can ask yourself is this, just to see if you can understand what you really bring to the table. If a client does not hire me, what are they missing out? Okay, so I thought about that for a minute, and I realized, if a client does not hire me to sell their home, they are going to miss out on the aggressive marketing that I utilize. In other words, prospecting. I door knock at least a half a mile radius from any seller's house, and I cold call the area just to find any person who might be thinking of buying their house. You see, I don't think a lot of realtors door knock around a new listing. So that's something that is definitely useful. Other than just sticking it on the MLS, putting it on Zillow and all that stuff. No. I take an active approach to handling the seller's house, and I'm sure they can appreciate that, and that's what they're missing out. So that's something I add in value to the seller. Um, and another thing to think about when it comes to adding value, what is your follow-up process like? Because when you come in contact with a seller and follow up with them, are you only asking, hey, when are you ready to sell? Hey, are you thinking of selling? Hey, is this the time? Hey, is this by summer? No, don't do that. You have to add, don't take away. Because when you're asking them to sell, you're kind of taking away from them. You got to add something. Hey, Mr. Seller, a new listing just came up in your area, or a new one just got put into escrow for 600,000. I think your house is around 600,000 as well. Let's see how well this goes. You're adding something to the experience. Okay? You're not taking away, you're adding value. People are more receptive to that as opposed to just asking them to buy or sell a property. Okay? In addition, when it comes to adding value, know your market. This was presented by a mega agent at Keller Williams. He said, know your market. Because when you're having a conversation with a buyer or seller, what do they really care about? One is that you can perform, and two, you know what you're talking about. Because how many times have you stepped into a doctor's office and you see them see them checking you out and all that stuff? You know that they're certain of their ability, right? Wouldn't you feel worried if a doctor stepped in and didn't know what they were doing? It's kind of the same approach for us realtors. We have to know our market. We have to know the average days on market, where the price is going, what's the trend, which areas are hot, interest rates, how much money they'll be losing or saving. Stuff like that matters. And the more you're able to present to the table, the more a prospect or a lead can appreciate you talking to them. Okay? So that was the part in adding value. The second thing I learned was, how to listen and how to understand. Because we all know that one quote by Stephen Covey, we listen with the intent to reply. We don't listen with the intent to understand. So, here's one thing I learned. Let's see here. When you're listening to a prospect, you gotta listen for their response. And when I mean response is how long it takes for them to respond, how quick they are, the emotion behind it, the certainty. Okay? And this is what I was kind of implementing subconsciously when I was cold calling. Because here's my script. It's really simple. Hey, this is Kenji with Keller Williams. I'm giving you a call to see if you had any interest in selling your house. That simple. However, yes, there's a yes or no answer. But you gotta listen to how they're saying it. If it's a no, like a sudden, abrupt no, obviously they're not thinking. But if it's no, there's an indication. Listen for the pauses, the voice inflections, the hesitation when it comes to answering. Listen for those. In addition, you gotta listen for what they care about. It sounds so simple, but not everybody utilizes it. Because you can only influence what you understand. So you gotta understand what's most important for them, why they are doing something. Is there a condition behind what they're saying, Because many times we say a lot of things, but we really don't mean it. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope you do. Because there are a lot of times where I talk with buyers and sellers and they tell me one thing, but after asking multiple questions more, they mean something else. So you just got to catch that in your ears. Listen with the intent to understand their strategy, their feedback, their buying strategy, stuff like that, and proceed with more questions that are catered to their responses, and then you'll get the right answers. And lastly is being creative in your business. Because a lot of the times people want to give the same thing, the comparative market analysis, the listing presentation, all this stuff, and it, on the surface it may seem different, but in reality, they're all pretty much the same. The same scripts, the same dialogue. What, kind of like the first portion where I talk about adding value, what is something creative that you add to the table? And let me give you some ideas. Some agents, one example, very simple, is video text. Video text is something I've used before I went to this family reunion. I get more responses from video texts as opposed to regular text. It's pretty cool. Try it yourself. Another thing people use, they mention charities. Let me explain. So during a listing presentation for one of the agents, he explained how he brought about the local charity. So when they were going to sign the paperwork, the agent would say, "So, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, which local charity do you want us to donate to once we earn the money selling your house?" Something like that. And that kind of brought my attention a little bit because it's unique, shows that he cares about the community, right? How many other agents do you know do that? Be a part of their community like that and add value and help the customer or the client feel like they're contributing to a good cause. Okay? That's pretty creative, don't you think? And another thing that another agent used was a survey for the pre-listing package. And in his survey, he talked about he had all the basic questions that you would ask before an appointment. Hey, when you do sell, where are you going next? How much do you want for this property? Do you have an open mortgage? And the last question was pretty cool. Will you hire us to sell the property when we meet with you? The point of the question is to find out if they were willing to list. If they were, then they didn't even go into a listing presentation. They just signed the paperwork and went on with it. It saves time. However, if they said no, then they would go in with the listing presentation. There's just so many unique ways to go about this business. It's not just a straightforward way. Okay? You can utilize many different tools that cater to your personality. However, one thing is for certain, you cannot forget the fundamentals. If you read the real estate agent, the millionaire real estate agent, you've heard about Gary Keller talk about um, the pyramid. You gotta have the foundation set first before you add your creative touch, right? So those were the three key takeaways I had from Keller Williams Family Reunion. One, what do you add in value? Two, listen with the intent to understand. You know, listen to understand instead of replying. And number three is being creative with your business, doing things differently from other realtors, even the small things like a video text or something big like donating part of your commission check to a charity. So, a lot of things that I'm going to implement into my business, and I do hope that this kind of enlightened the different possibilities that you have when it comes to growing your real estate business. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button. Stay tuned for more content. See ya.